Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to build Blender 2.6 in Ubuntu 11.10 in a way that will allow you to easily update to the latest revision number by just running a couple of simple commands in your terminal. To get started, I've gone over to the blender.org website, and on the front page down the bottom there is a link to user manual. If you click on that, you then want to go over to the develop section of the Blender wiki and click on the link building Blender. And today I'm showing you how to do it on Linux, so you want to click that. Now you have a choice here of either going for CMake or scones. I recommend CMake. I'm going to be using CMake for this tutorial. Generally I just find it easier and quicker to use, so I'll click on CMake. Now you've got a list of instructions here which can look kind of daunting if you've never done this before, but all you need to really be able to do is just copy and paste commands into your terminal. So in order to open up the terminal you need to press Ctrl-Alt-T, which will open up the command line here. Now first things first, I'm just going to right click on the window top here and select always on top. This way I can edit and click on and select screens below it, but it will always stay on top, which is very useful if you're doing a lot of cutting and pasting. So first thing you need to do is install the dependencies. So if you select all the text that is in this sort of greyed out area and copy it, go over to the terminal and paste it in. Once that's pasted in, you just need to hit enter on your keyboard and it will ask you for a password, so just enter in the password to your account. And I think I've got that wrong, yep. There we go. I've already got all these dependencies installed, but if you haven't, it will prompt you what ones need to be installed and will then allow you to install them. If at any stage you get an error here or something saying that, I don't know, one of these packages relies on another package, you're going to have to sort out those errors before you can move on. So if you do get any errors, your best chance would be to head on over to the Blender IRC chat room or go to the Ubuntu forums, or you could probably post a comment below and I will try to get it sorted for you. But yeah, just hope that you don't get any errors. If you do, you're gonna have to spend a bit of time getting them sorted. But once that's done, you then need to make sure that you are in your root directory, which I already am. If you can tell if you are or aren't by whether you've got the name of your computer and your username and then a / followed by something else. If you've got that / and something else, it means that you aren't in your root directory. But a good way to check it is to type cd space and then the squiggly line. I can't remember what the proper name for that is, and then hit enter and it will automatically return you to your home directory wherever you are in your filing system. So we are already in the home directory, so that's good. I can now carry on. Next thing we need to do is make a directory inside the home directory, which is going to be called blender-svn. You could call it, I don't know, my Blender, Blender 2.6, whatever, even your cat's name if you so wished, but I recommend keeping it as blender-svn because it is used in all the further instructions down the page, so you would have to keep on editing it each time, which just, yeah, takes time and is a bit pointless really. So I'm just going to use the default, so I'm going to copy and paste that in, hit enter. That has now made a directory in our home folder. As you can see, now got one here called blender-svn, and there is nothing in it at the moment, so let's put something in it by first of all going cd and then blender-svn. cd is the command for moving into a directory. So as you can see now it says /blender-svn, so we're now in that directory. And Now next thing to do is to download the SVN code into that directory by selecting that line, pasting it in, hitting enter, and you will then get, after a short pause, you will now get a load of text just scrolling down the screen. I'm actually going to stop it there by hitting Control and C, because I've already got Blender installed, and I'm just going to show you the next couple of steps, because I don't want to spend loads of time downloading stuff that I don't need to. So once all of this has gone through, it should take about 5 minutes on a reasonable-ish computer. The one I'm recording this on isn't particularly good, so yeah, things take rather a long time on it. But once all that's loaded, you'll get back to a prompt like this. Once you're there, you then need to, if you're running a 64-bit, you need to select this line of code. If you're running a 32-bit, you need to select this line of code, and then just paste it in. It will do the same thing as it's doing here, and once that's done, you're then ready to start compiling it. Now, the first thing you need to do is a sudo apt-get install of CMake. So you'll install CMake and its GUI. So if you paste that in there, hit enter. I already have this installed, but you will probably have to install it. So same as before, it will give you the ability to install it. I think you'll just hit Y on your keyboard and press enter once it prompts you. Once that's installed, you can then go on to setting up CMake. Now, there is an automatic CMake setup, which they give the instructions for here, but I'm just going to skip that section and go onto the manual CMake setup, which, although it sounds more complicated, isn't. All you need to do is you need to copy this make directory command underneath the manual CMake setup section, and copy that and paste it in. That will then create a new directory inside blender.svn called build, and then you cd into that, and then you are going to want to run CMake space full stop twice /blender, which will basically compile all the options for CMake. And then once that's done, that will take a couple of seconds. Once that's done, you can then go ahead and edit it by entering, either you can use the in terminal in command line option, or you can use the CMake GUI, which will open it in a separate window and give you some nice buttons to click. But you then, once that's open, you can then tick on the options that you want. I shall just quickly show you by, I'm going to delete the folder I've just created. Obviously you don't want to do that because you've just downloaded everything into it, but I have just saved mine over to there. Just drag it back. Okay. Once you've got your blender.svn all downloaded in there, you will then want to edit what basically gets made when you run the make command. So if you want to use the GUI method, you just copy CMake -GUI and paste it in like, oops, already got a command in there. Hold on, let's just make sure that, I need to actually cd into the blend. You will have already done this, I'm just being lazy and skipping these sections. Right, okay, so once you're in there and you want to edit what it gets actually made, you just need to do the CMake GUI, and I need an I on the end of that. There we go. And followed by a space, and then 2 full stops, / and blender. Which, when you hit enter, will open up this window, and as I said, you've got the tick box options. I've already edited this. Quite a few things will be turned off. if you just sort of want everything enabled that you can, tick everything on bar the Python module and the Python safety and the QDub binaries and the cycles test, because you don't really need them, and some things have to be turned off for things to work, and yeah, it just gets messy with that. Once you've done that, you just need to click the configure button, which will configure everything according to how you've ticked these boxes, and then once that's done, provided there are no red error messages coming up down here, you can just click generate and it will generate the files that are needed. Once that's done, you can close the window and all of that's okay. Then the last step that is needed for this is you need to CD, make sure you're in your blender-svn build, which I already am, but you can make sure by just pasting that in, hitting enter, and then you need to run the command make followed by make install. If I just run make very briefly to show you what it should look like, this will take a fair amount of time. I'm not going to I'm not going to do it all on this machine because it will take hours and it's a waste of bandwidth really, and yeah, you will get something like this but with sort of green and red and all sorts. Because I have already built this fairly recently, there's nothing new to build into it, but once that's all built, you may have a bit of weight on your hands. Once that's all built, you basically will be able to start up Blender. In order to do that, I am going to show you how to actually make a link for your Unity Dash, because by default the Blender one is sort of a bit ugly and the wrong size, it's a bit pixelated. So yeah, you need to run make followed by make install, and the last thing that you can do, and I recommend copying this somewhere into a text document, or if you're planning on updating a lot, you can select all of this, copy it and paste it in, and then run it, and then by using the up and down arrow keys on your keyboard you can cycle through your last used commands. So obviously if you're using it, you know, every now and again, you may have to cycle through for quite a long time, but if you're updating every day, then you'll be able to find the command fairly easily. And all that command does is that it gets you into the right directory. It then tells the SVN to update or check for updates on all those files, and then it will build it, and then it will make install, which basically moves the files into a different folder for your use. So if there aren't that many updates, that should only take a couple of minutes, it shouldn't be hours. So yeah, that's how you update it, just that one section of code, just paste it in your terminal. So that's all very easy. Now in order to run Blender, I can now get out of this, I think. In order to run Blender, you can go to your directory, your home directory, and double click on blender-svn, followed by build, and then bin, and now this is all the Blender files here that have been made and compiled and everything. And here you've got the Blender executable, and if you just click on that, you can see that you've now got Blender working. I have already made this icon so that it is the right size and so that it will stay in the launcher. If you're just using the default Blender icon that just appears after you've just made this, it will be a lot sort of squashed and stretched and pixelated. And if you right click and select keep in launcher, so that it stays there even when you close Blender down, you won't be able to click on it and reopen Blender. But with this new icon I can just click on it and Blender opens up just like that. So it's very simple to do this. All you need to do is I've already got a template document here, which, if I just minimize that, all you need to do is in your home folder press Ctrl H, which will then show all your hidden files and folders, and you need to find the one called .local, double click on that and then go to share and then applications. Now this is the one that I've already got in there. Just going to make that stay on top. Right, if I drag this in to show you what I've got in it, what I've got here is a square bracket followed by desktop entry with uppercase E and D, and then closing it off, and then with a square bracket, and then I've got the version, and that's equal to 1. You could put 2.6 if you really wanted to. I can't be bothered. We've got the type, which needs to be an application. Run in terminal here, I recommend is typing in true, because that, when you open Blender, it will open the terminal, as you can see, which if you're writing add-ons or if you're doing debugging or whatever, then it sort of gives you more options. So, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So yes, I recommend having that, and then the EXEC needs to be the executable file, so that's in home, my name, so meteor, and then / blender-svn build bin blender, just like I showed you how to run it. You give it a name if you want, just call it blender, and then the icon, I'm currently using the default icon that's in there. You could make a custom one if you wanted to, but it's in the same folder as the actual Blender executable file, so it's just called blender.svg. So I've just copied that over and stuck SVG on the end of it. All very simple, and then all you need to do with this is save it into the local share and applications, and you need to name it as something like blender.desktop. It has to be .desktop, otherwise it won't work. Also, if you think it if you then go to your dash and type in Blender, I automatically get it popping up here, but if you don't, after you've just made this and saved it, provided you've done it correctly, if you don't, you will need to reboot your system in order to get it to show up, and then you can just click and drag that over. So, all very simple. I will put a copy of this in the description so you don't have to spend time typing it out. I hope this has been useful to some of you, and if you've got any questions, if you've had any problems with it, just drop me a comment below and I will try to answer it. So yeah, I hope this has been useful, and I will see you again.